Should I date someone if we have different beliefs or levels of faith? Ooh, that is a great question. I think I'm going to answer the levels of faith part because I don't really know what we mean by different beliefs. I don't know if we're talking about like religion or things like that. Because I think like if you're just talking about like theological beliefs, I think that you can find middle ground, like Jesus, Son of God. I don't know. Okay, don't let me get into that. Levels of faith. Here's my thing. I think if somebody's like a baby Christian, I would say don't date them. If you, and I mean it in this way, right? I would say take time for and allow them to grow. Like have a conversation. If you're both like, wow, we really, really like each other. They're a baby Christian, right? I think we should really be together. You just have the honest conversation of, hey, I think you need to grow, but I want to eventually start a relationship with you after you've grown, after you have a foundation in the Lord. Because I feel like, for me personally, this is how I feel, it can get a little testy. And what you might find is that they start looking at you for Jesus instead of looking at the cross. And so I think you have to let them get discipled, grow, delve into their word, figure out some things, begin to bear, dig a well, get those good things, and then go ahead and just have the conversation. It's not that hard to have that conversation. I think a lot of times we chalk a lot of the stuff up to like, well, that's uncomfortable. Well, welcome to living for Jesus. It's uncomfortable. You're going to have hard conversations. It's a part of life. So that's just me personally. We're talking about beliefs. I don't know if we're talking about like theological beliefs or not. Because, I don't know, my brother-in-law and my sister, they have some different theological beliefs. Like, he believes like a more Calvinist view of once saved, always saved. And she doesn't. And we've all had conversations about this. And so there's like things like that that's like, okay. But I think you just have to have conversations about them, and you have to figure out those are deal breakers for each other. Because some things are, and some things aren't. So you just have to have a conversation. I feel like I already answered that. Yeah. How do I honor God with my sexuality as a single Christian? Yeah. That's tough, huh? Sorry. Yeah, that's tough, especially, I don't know, hormones are just raging and everything's like so sexualized in culture right now that it's just tough to do that. And I think that it's this, you have to have self-control, and you have to really lock in what you're looking at and what you're listening to and what you're allowing into your life. Because I think one of the places that the enemy really loves to build separation is obviously with sin, but I think it's through sexual sin. And I think that that's one of the big things right now is like, what is your eyes looking to? What are your ears hearing? What are you allowing in? What are your boundaries on those things where you let things in? And I have had to be really strict about stuff like that I can watch, that I can't watch. Like we've talked about how like I don't listen to Beyonce anymore, just because it just wasn't bearing fruit for me. And so there's just things like that I'm going to ask you, like, if you really want to honor the Lord with this, I think you have to really set boundaries and really, really be honest and self-control, and get accountability if you need accountability. It can be super helpful. So, what are healthy boundaries in Christian dating?